trip we planned, we're actually going out to the East Coast instead of the West Coast like we had originally planned. We're going to go to Niagara Falls and then Atlantic City, New Jersey, which is kind of like a mini Vegas. I'll probably just do a video on our trip doing that. And then we are also going to try and do some of the Mid-Atlantic Backcountry Discovery route, which is like a pre-mapped, it's kind of like dirt roads and stuff like that, some backcountry roads through the mountains of Pennsylvania and Virginia. It's supposed to take 7 days to do the whole thing. I think we're only going to do 1 or 2 sections if we have time. But yeah, here's the bike. She is pretty loaded down. I don't even have my bag on there yet, but we bought these dry bags. I hope they work pretty well, and then we're storing all of our other stuff in the side bags. Actually, it turns out we both have bar bags for our dirt bikes, and those work out perfect for a little side bag and a bar bag. I bought this a while back. It's a Tour Tech top box. We're gonna put all our snacks and water bottles and just some random miscellaneous stuff in there. But yeah, it should be a fun trip. This thing's gonna look massive going down the road, which is not a bad thing because people see you. That's one thing that I'm not a huge fan of, is other people when we're riding bikes. I don't trust them, if I'm being honest. But I'm hoping the bike does well. I know my tires are not really meant for the amount of highway riding that we're gonna be doing, but they're still probably 50-ish%. 50, yeah, 40, 50. So I'm guessing by the time I get back from this trip, I'm gonna have to change them out, especially with all this weight on it, but that's fine. That works for me. But anyways, yeah, I will probably see you on the road. I do have a dentist appointment today, so I don't know if I'll do much filming right at first because my mouth is probably gonna be numb, and we have a 5.5 hour ride tonight. We're staying in Erie, Pennsylvania. About 3 hours into the trip, and wouldn't you know, it's raining, although it looks nice down there. So we're gearing up to do another 3 hours of this crap. Oh, there's a rainbow. Look at that. Neat. Hopefully we can stay dry now. That would be ideal. All right, made it to our hotel for the night. We're at the Clarion Point Hotel in Erie, Pennsylvania. I don't know anything about it. Cold. The last 2 hours have been very cold. Chantel's been bundled up in her rain gear, and we're both a little wet from the rain earlier. We rode through about an hour and a half of rain. 400 miles into our trip so far. Bike's doing pretty good. Tires seem to be holding up pretty decent, actually. Everything is just absolutely blasted with bugs. Even our bags that were back here, you can kind of see it. Just blasted with bugs. But yeah, so far been a good trip. Looking forward till tomorrow. We're going to Niagara Falls. All right, so we got off the highway finally after about 400 miles of straight highway. We're taking it's called East Lake Road, I believe. Takes you up into Buffalo, New York along the lakeshore. And then I think it pretty much takes you directly to Niagara Falls, but I'm not sure. First time riding this, so we'll see. This area is really cool though. There's a bunch of vineyards and just stuff like that. It almost reminds me of Michigan. sketchy. I almost dumped it in the sand with Chantel on the back. That would have been bad. Tell us what just happened.
You about killed me.
We're coming down this little trail here on Lake Erie. And it was dirt, and then it turned into straight soft sand down there. And I had bow-biffed her. Bow-biffed her real hard. This is not a sand bike by any means. But it is a cool view. You can see some houses over there. So far this trip's been awesome. Almost dumped it. Oh! I know they say speed is key, but I want to keep my feet down because we have a bunch of luggage, and if I lay her down, the bags potentially might break. Alright, made it out alive. Thank God for traction control. Sketch. I'm fine here. It's pretty solid. She's not impressed.
I You can so fill that boat.
Who is? Oh no. Alright, this is pretty cool. Neat. Here's the Canadian side. Alright guys, that completes day one for our trip. We are in, I believe, Williamsburg, Pennsylvania. I'll have to double check that. But we're staying at the Best Western. Looks pretty fancy, to be honest. Bike's still doing good. My rear tire is diminishing a little bit. But I think it'll last the rest of the trip, if I'm being honest. Bugs, dirt everywhere. We both have sore butts. I think we're close to 1,000 miles so far for the trip. But yeah, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Okay guys, we are on to day two of the trip. We're headed to Atlantic City. We're about, if we take the fast route, we're about 2 hours. We're taking the, I don't know where I'm going. We are taking the more scenic route through the country. So it's about 3.5 hours, which is fine with me because we don't really have a timeline. We can't get to our hotel there until 4 p.m. anyway, so we've got a while. A lot more nice today. It was pretty cloudy and rainy and cold yesterday. We were, in fact, actually, hold on. I had my seat heater and grip heaters on like full tilt last night because it was cold. Let me turn those off or I'll be sweating. But yeah, it's been a good trip so far. Yesterday was definitely, it was still fun, but it was definitely colder, and I had a sweatshirt, my windbreaker, and then my second windbreaker and my rain pants on. And I wasn't bad, but it was definitely, I don't know, it wasn't too bad. I guess I shouldn't complain. I've definitely ridden worse. But yeah, I'll just record along the way. So far we haven't really done too much interesting stuff. We've kind of just been riding, which is kind of boring to film and for you guys to look at. So today we're going through some of the country, so we'll probably stop in some small towns. That'll be kind of cool. Everything out here is a lot older than it is back home. Bunch of Victorian style homes, bunch of old brick buildings. I've seen some Civil War stuff. It's just pretty neat. It's a pretty neat area. I wish that it would have been light when we went through the area we went through last night. I'm pretty sure it was pretty mountainous. I don't know, I couldn't tell it was dark, but we were going over some serious hills. But yeah, here's for day 2. There's a sweet Evo coming up beside me. That thing is sweet. And we've arrived in Philadelphia, and the traffic has been absolutely shit since we got here. Stop and go, stop and go. I was gonna take my sweatshirt off before I got here, and I did not, and I'm regretting it because this traffic's hot. Where are we at?
The beach.
We've made it to Atlantic City. It was actually kind of a haul. We've rode about 1,000 miles. Actually, pretty much right at 1,000 miles. Left Indiana, went back up to, or not back up to, but left Indiana, went to Niagara Falls, and then down through Pennsylvania. We've taken a few detours and definitely taken some back roads versus the highways, so it has taken way longer than it would if you would just ride on the highways, but it was more fun. And now we're here at the beach in Atlantic City. Decent. Alright guys, we're leaving Atlantic City. Kind of a cool place. It wasn't super packed, which was awesome. The boardwalk's pretty cool. Let's see if I can figure out how to get out of here. Kind of reminds me of Vegas, but a lot less people, and the casinos aren't quite as big. But a pretty cool area. I would probably come back for like a weekend vacation. It's actually really cool as far as temperature wise goes. It never really got hot, but I will say we stayed at the Tropicana. I don't know what it is with the big casino hotels, but anyways, the hotels, you can't actually adjust the temperature in the room. It was 75 degrees, which is way too hot for me. My GPS is freaking out on me right now. But we are headed to Harrisburg, PA today. It's not a real long ride. And then tomorrow we're going to do I think we're going to do 2 sections tomorrow of the Mid-Atlantic Backcountry Discovery Route. That should be interesting. I think the 2 sections we are doing are not that hard. A lot of them are actually paved roads, just for the simple fact that I have a lot of luggage on here and I'm riding 2 up. I don't know how well this thing will actually do off-road when it comes to gravel roads and stuff. There's a lot of weight on here. So the 2 sections I chose are the 4 and 5 section. It's going to put us roughly in the West Virginia. I think it'll put us into Virginia. And then from there, we're going to ride from there into West Virginia and stay in Parkersville, West Virginia, or Parkersburg, West Virginia. Our usual wait time to get on the bike and leave because she's got to do this. Checks out. So we're going to go and do section 5 of the BDR. I don't know how it's going to go. I was able to get my GPS stuff on here, which I don't know if you guys can see that, but it overlays on the GPS app. But I'm a cheap ass and I didn't pay for it, so I can't download it offline, so we'll see how this goes. We're going solely on cell service, so it may or may not be good or bad. But yeah, we're gonna fuel up and then get headed out. I think this route's like 100 miles long, maybe? I don't know. I don't know how we're gonna like it, because we're riding 2 up and we've got 600 pounds of luggage on here. Yeah, I'll see you guys probably when we get there. Alright guys, we've arrived at we're doing section 5 of the BDR. We are doing it backwards, or I guess from north to south. You're supposed to do it south to north, south to north, but this is kind of where we ended up and we want to go more south than north, so this is what we're doing. So far it hasn't been too bad. It's just gravel roads through a forest. I forgot to hit record on my GoPro when we first turned on this road. We haven't been on very long, but it is really pretty through here. I believe we go through a state forest, and then I'm not sure. I don't know. I did a little bit of research on this route. This one is supposedly one of the easier ones from what I gathered. Not a bunch of steep uphills or rocky stuff. Which is kind of nice, just for the simple fact that we are riding 2 up and there's a lot of weight on this bike, and if we go down it's not going to be good. So I'm just taking it slow. Kind of told Chantal we just get done what we get done. If it gets to be 3-4 o'clock and we're not even halfway done, we'll probably jump off and just head to the hotel for the night. gravel's kind of sketchy. Ooh, big bump, hang on. Did you hear me? Yeah, well, I tried to. All right, so we're about 20 minutes, or not 20 minutes, 20 miles into the first one. It's pretty much just all kind of gravelly, kind of like this, like gravel roads. There's some bumps. Ah, there's a car coming. But yeah, it's kind of cool. I don't know that I could do it too long. Is the problem. It's not sketchy, it's just there's a lot of weight, and when you're on gravel it does get a little hairy if it gets loose. Luckily this, with the off-road mode and the traction control, kind of just, it's super tame, but we'll see what the rest of the trail is. I don't know. Supposedly there's an Amish creamery along the way somewhere I think we want to stop at. Well, we got on a little road section of the trail, and I went to hit my rear brakes back there at that corner down there, and my brake pedal just went straight down. And I'm like, what the heck? So we stopped at this little pull off and look down. I think I may have been using too much rear brakes going down the little mountain we were on. She was a little warm. Hopefully I can let it cool down and it's fine. That'd be ideal. I don't know. It does pretty good other than that. I do have a lot of weight on it, which is probably why it got so hot. And we were kind of going down. I mean, there were some pretty steep grades there. We're about a little under halfway done so far. Hasn't been too bad, just some gravel dirt roads. The first few gravel roads were loose gravel or fresh gravel, I guess I should say, and that was a little sketchy. Kind of wants to walk all over the place, but the last probably 10 miles or so have been pretty much just dirt or hard pack gravel. You can do about 35-40 on it and feel fine. You could probably go even faster, but I don't want to with a passenger. But yeah, so far it's been awesome. Through. It's right at the beginning of section 5. Fire. Absolutely recommend. I got the peach ice cream. So good. Guys, so we are kind of sort of ending off our trip today. Today's going to be the last day of doing stuff, and then tomorrow we're just going to ride home. We stayed in Bridgeport, West Virginia last night. I unfortunately haven't been able to record a bunch because my GoPro that I normally wear on my helmet keeps acting up, and after I turn it off once, it won't turn back on unless I take the battery out, which is kind of hard to do while you're riding. So we're riding over towards Athens, Ohio today, and I believe that's where we're gonna stay tonight, and then that's about 5 hours-ish to back home. There's some back roads. It's called the Ohio Windy 9. So we're gonna do some of those. There's also some dual sport stuff over there that I think we're gonna try and hit. We're only about an hour from there. from that area at least. I think we're about an hour and 40 from Athens, but from that area we're about an hour. It's been an awesome trip so far. I don't know what this YouTube video is going to be like because of my camera messing up, and to be honest, it's been a lot of just riding. We haven't really stayed one place long. We've kind of just went to certain places and done the cool stuff there, you know, for half a day, and then took off towards our next destination. We'll ride like an hour or so on the highway, and then I'll set my GPS to turn off to avoid highways basically. And that has been actually really fun to do. I've never done that before just because around our area it sucks because everything's just a square. But out here it's been awesome. We rode like 2 hours, I think it was, and I believe most of it was the George Washington Highway, Memorial Highway or something like that. And for like 2 hours straight, I don't know what this is. FBI police checkpoint ahead. I don't know what that's about. We're just gonna go ahead and take a different route. Is what we're gonna do. It said FBI police checkpoint, which is kind of weird. But yeah, anyways, that George Washington Highway was freaking sweet. It kind of reminded me of, like, there were sections of it that were kind of like the Tail of the Dragon, then there were sections of it that were like the Cherry Hollow, where it's just long sweeping corners. Unfortunately, we rode about half of it at nighttime, which was still a blast because there was no traffic, but we will definitely be coming back out and doing some more of the roads in this area, because I think we're only like 6 hours and 45 minutes from our house into West Virginia. So the roads around here are awesome. I don't know how much fun they would be in the Corvette because they are kind of bumpy, but yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I'll record what I can today as long as my GoPro doesn't decide to be a piece of crap again. Last 3 days it's been doing that thing, so off we go. We're in Athens, Ohio now. Stopped in Parkersburg for some coffee. Gotta keep the wife happy. And we're in Athens, Ohio, which is where the Windy Nine kind of centralizes around. We're actually going to see Moonsville Tunnel. It's like an old abandoned railroad tunnel. I don't know what exactly it was used for, but we've been there before, but we drove there. And there's a little bit of like light off-roading to get there, so we're gonna try that out and go. We're staying, I think, like 30 minutes from Athens tonight. Well, this town's kind of cool. It's actually a college town, surprisingly enough, but a lot of the downtown roads are still brick, which is kind of cool. A little bit sketch on a motorcycle, but cool. Just a small, well, I guess it's not super small, but smaller town. But yeah, we'll see you when we get onto the off-road part. There's a mower. Go ahead. We've arrived at Moonville Tunnel. Let's cross this little bridge and walk. It's also 9,000 degrees outside. Kind of cool. Bunch of little locks on this bridge. Neat. Little swimming area. Oh, there it is. Moonville Tunnel. Don't really know the history on it. Do you? Neither of us know. I think there used to be a mining town or something back here, and this was the tunnel to get to it. Wish you could bring motorized stuff down here. I hate walking. But yeah, pretty cool area. I don't know if this is an actual house because it has a freaking mailbox. I wonder if it's one of those small Airbnbs. 100% it is. Look, it's got the lock. That's kind of funny. Yeah. So we made it back today. We got back around noon. I didn't film anything pretty much from Ohio to here. No point. It's all just cornfields and bean fields. Got the bike pretty much all unloaded. She's absolutely filthy. Bugs everywhere, dirt everywhere from all the back roads going down and dirt roads. Tires are absolutely smoked. The front one's not bad, but the rear one, pretty bad. She's about to be nothing. The rear of the bike actually is probably about the dirtiest, super dusty. It was a super awesome trip. This bike makes me see why people like them, I guess you could say. Definitely very good for road trips, very comfortable. You can set the cruise to 80 mile an hour. It just floats down the road. The different ride modes are awesome. You put it in sport mode, it handles, I would say, relatively close to a sport bike. You put it in off-road mode, it's not quite a dirt bike, but it's also not that bad either. It soaks up most of the bumps, even riding 2 up, and handles pretty well. After this trip, I am totally sold on this bike. It is freaking awesome. Got like 40 miles to the gallon most of the time. And still rips. Like it's an absolute ripper. I did notice my chain was making some noise. I'm gonna go through and do probably a full service on this thing in the next few days. I might film that. Clean the chain, check the brakes. I know my rear brake got way overheated coming down a mountain, and actually I got down to the bottom of it. And I had no rear brakes. It just went straight down. But yeah, I'm going to do a full service oil change, clean the chain, check everything over, make sure there's nothing leaking. Just give it a good once over. As far as improving the bike after this trip, definitely going to need a seat. It wasn't bad. I have a feeling if I wasn't riding 2 up, it would be better because I could move around a little bit more. But riding 2 up, I'm kind of stuck in 1 or 2 positions. You can stand a little bit, but it's kind of uncomfortable for my wife. I want to put a seat on it. I do want to do an exhaust eventually, I think. Not something crazy loud, just something that gives a little bit more tone. And then tires. 100% doing tires. These off-road tires, they're decent off-road, but on the road, they kind of suck. They're very vibraty, very noisy. Very, very noisy, actually. We actually ordered some Michelin Anakis, I believe they're called. It's what comes factory on the Pan Americas and some other bikes. They came factory on the BMWs for a while. So we're going to give those a shot, and hopefully those are a little better. But yeah, it was an awesome trip. I look forward to doing my next one. I think the next big one, we're going to try and go out west. That's kind of what we decided. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate all you guys that do watch, and I'll see you in the next one.